When I first started learning English, reading was the one thing I avoided the most. I thought reading was too difficult, too boring, and honestly, too slow. I would open a book, read one sentence, and stop after the third word I didn't understand. I'd pull out a dictionary, look it up, forget it 5 seconds later, and close the book in frustration. Sound familiar? It wasn't that I didn't want to read. I did. I wanted to be one of those people who could sit at a cafe and read a novel in English like it was nothing. But every time I tried, it felt impossible. And then one day, something changed. I was in a bookstore, looking at the English section without any real goal. I picked up a book with a colorful cover. It was called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I opened to a random page and started reading. To my surprise, the sentences were short. The vocabulary wasn't too complicated, and most importantly, it was interesting. I was curious. I wanted to know what happened next. So I bought the book. That night, I told myself, just read one page. Don't look up words. Don't worry about understanding everything. Just keep going. And I did. I read one page, then another. I didn't stop for every word. I just tried to get the idea, the feeling, the rhythm. And for the first time ever, I enjoyed reading in English. From that point on, I started creating my own system, a way of reading that actually worked for me, not for a test, not for school, but for me. And it changed the way I learned the language. Let me share with you exactly how I did it, step by step. Step 1. Start with what you like. If you don't like crime stories, don't read Sherlock Holmes. If you don't like fantasy, don't start with Harry Potter. This might sound obvious, but many learners force themselves to read things they're supposed to like. Forget that. Read something you enjoy, even if it's a children's book, even if it's a comic, even if it's a news article about cats. If it holds your attention, it's a great place to start. Step 2. Read for the story, not every word. This one took me a while to learn. In school, we're trained to read slowly and carefully, checking every word. But when you're learning a language, that will kill your motivation fast. So I made a rule. I was only allowed to look up one word per page. That's it. The rest I had to guess from the context. At first, it was hard. I felt like I was missing too much. But over time, I realized I was understanding more than I thought. My brain was working harder, but smarter, and it made me a better reader. Step 3. Read out loud sometimes. Yes, really, not all the time, but sometimes. When I was alone, I'd pick a short paragraph and read it aloud. Slowly, clearly. I focused on how the words felt in my mouth. I noticed rhythm, pronunciation, and natural pauses. It wasn't just reading practice, it was speaking practice too. Step 4. Reread what you love. There was one book I read 3 times. The first time, I understood maybe 60%. The second time, ate it. The third time, I barely needed to think. And guess what? It didn't feel boring. It felt empowering. Every sentence I understood was a little win. Rereading builds confidence. It makes you feel like, hey, I actually know this now. That feeling? It keeps you going. Step 5. Keep a word log, but use it differently. I used to write down every new word I found in a notebook. It looked impressive, but I never looked at it again. Then I changed my strategy. Now, When I read a word I don't know, I stop and ask myself, do I really need this word right now? If it seems useful, I write a full sentence using it, not just the definition, a sentence that connects to my life. For example, new word, disappointed. My sentence, I felt disappointed when my friend canceled our plans last minute. Now the word means something to me. I remember it, not because I studied it, but because I used it. Step 6, mix it up. Don't just read books. Reading doesn't only mean novels. I read subtitles on Netflix, social media posts, YouTube comments, product reviews, even English menus at restaurants. Every bit of reading counts. So if someone tells you that reading books is the real way to learn, just smile. Reading is reading. If it's in English and you're learning from it, it's valid. Step 7. Set tiny goals and track progress. At the beginning, I told myself, 1 page a day, that's it. No pressure. Some days I read more, some days less. But I showed up consistently. After a few weeks, 1 page became 2, then 3, then full chapters. Eventually, I started reading books in English without fear. Not perfectly, not fast, but comfortably. One day, I was at a park, sitting on a bench, reading an English novel. Someone walked by and asked, "Are you reading that in English?" "Yes," I said. "Wow. Impressive," I smiled, because it wasn't about impressing anyone. It was about proving to myself that I could do it. Reading in English is one of the best ways to improve your vocabulary, feel more natural with sentence structure, and get used to how the language flows. But you don't need to start big. You just need to start. Here's what I learned. Choose what interests you. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for understanding. Reread and reuse. Make it fun. Read for you, not for a test. So grab a book or an article or a comic. Just start. 1 sentence at a time. Practice out loud, try different styles, and soon it will feel completely natural. Thank you for practicing with me today. See you in the next lesson.